Hey everyone, welcome back to West Coast Mopars. So today on my channel here, I've got this 64 Ford F350 dump box, and I use it all the time. It's insured right now. I use it. I went and got a bunch of firewood with it. I delivered some rocks to some guy. I've done all kinds of cool stuff with it, and just put it back to work. But the worst part about it is the wheels. So the wheels. You guys, if you watch the other videos I did on this truck, I mean, the story on this is it sat for like 30 years out in my buddy's field, and I put it back together. I did change these front tires, but they're on split rims. They do have tubes in them. The tires I thought were pretty good, but then, you know, as I've been driving around, I don't know if you guys can see it, they're all split down the center. So, and these wheels were not the long-term plan. So this wheel is so-so. I did take these outer locking rings off and changed the tires, right? I put the tubes back in, locking rings back on, aired them up. They're a little scary, right? Like there's a gap there. You know, you sort of chain them down and then put the airline on and hope and pray that the ring doesn't blow off. I mean, even right now I'm, you know, whacking on it, and it's kind of like you just hope it doesn't fly off and hit you, because they can kill you. So these wheels are not the best. Now the problem is they're 6-lug, right? And the only wheels that fit this truck, after doing extensive research, is 55 to 66 Ford F350. That's the only wheel that will fit. It's a 6 by 7 1/4. So guys were saying, oh, go look for the old Dodge military 6-lug wheels. They're a different bolt pattern. They are 6-lug, but the spacing's different. So there are some Bud wheels, and I actually have a pair. These are the same. These did come on the trucks. These are optional. They're a 6 by 7 1/4, but they're 17.5s. So not 16.5s, which you guys are used to hearing that are impossible to find. These are 17.5s. So I looked up the tires. They're like a semi-truck tire from the 70s. Like, good luck finding these things. I'm not going to find these. They don't have tubes, but I don't know if I trust these tires. I mean, these are ancient, right? And there's no... So that's sort of your other option. And I have 2 of them, not 6. So my plan here, I did some measuring. I basically need, the fronts don't matter. The fronts, there's no hub to go over on the front, right? This is just the hub bolted onto the drum there. There's no space that has to fit. Like, this hole doesn't matter. It can overhang the middle, whatever. It's the rears with the Dana 70 and floating axles. So that axle is like 5 1/8. But the hub underneath is actually a little smaller. Now, I went and bought a set of, there's actually 7 of them, these wheels. These are just your regular 8-lug, 1-ton, 16-inch wheel, but they're not a split rim, which is what I want. I don't want split rims anymore. I'm not opposed to split rims. I've had other trucks with them. But these ones I don't 100% trust. And, sorry, getting a little sidetracked here. But this is the wheel that I don't trust. So this one, if you guys can see in there, I don't know how well you can see. You can start to see that the rim is like rotting. Well, that's because it is. And I, you know, in the moment of like, I would just want to get the truck together and out of the shop, I had put the tube in this one because I changed the tire. So I put the tube in, and then the tube actually expanded when it came out the rim. It came out like inside here, and it actually tore the rim open. So what I did was I hammered it back straight, and I welded a patch panel all the way around on the inside of the rim, and it's not holding any air, obviously, because there's a tube, but it's just keeping the tube from pressing out and the rim from opening. Now, I know that's sketchy. I don't love it. It was just to get the truck on the road, like, not even on the road, just out of the shop, really. But then I realized I couldn't find wheels for this thing, so then I've just been rocking these things. So these are scary. I mean, split split rims and locking rims are already, you know, I don't love them, but, and then I've got one that's rotting and I've welded it. So that's why we're moving on to better things here. These rears, I never even touched them. They're split rims. The ring's actually just facing the inside. And the tires are old. These are cracked as well, right? So that's why I went and bought these 8-lug. Now, what I'm doing right now is, I already started one. So the one that on the top here, it's flipped upside down. What I did was I laid the other rim on top of this one. Now these have a smaller center hole, so I basically just made sure all the way around that the space was the same, right? Because the center hole is way bigger. So you just, you know, the other center hole was smaller, so it's the inside of the rim was in, if that makes any sense. So I just made sure the spacing was the same. I tried to line this up so that, like, each lug hole wasn't like halfway over an existing one, because then it makes it awkward to drill. So I kind of just made sure it was off to the side. This is what I've got. So this is the original hole. This is the one I drilled, right? There's an original hole. This is one I drilled. So I've drilled it for 6-lug, and I've already test fitted this rim on the front, and it does fit. It's fine. It's nothing's weird. So now what I've done is I've clamped it down. Just the rim underneath is just one of the new ones, and I've clamped it upside down to match the other one, and I lined up every single original hole perfect, and I've just clamped it down tight with these C-clamps. So now what I'm running, I've just got this little hole saw without the pilot bit, so that I can literally just put it in the hole that I drilled, right like that, and it won't spin around in there. It's not cutting a new hole in the existing hole I made. It's just going to cut a new hole in the new rim. So I know that sounds pretty complicated, but that's what I've come up with. If they're a little bit out of balance, that's not the end of the world. This truck has 588s. I don't go any faster than 45 miles an hour. That's top speed. I just use it around town, dump runs, hauling firewood from the bush, stuff like that. So that's what I'm up to. Thought I would just, you know, if you guys have one of these and you're going, I don't know where to find wheels, these are impossible to find, this is what I've come up with. And these wheels are from I think a 2002 Ford E350. It was actually an ambulance, but just a dually, a 2001, 2002 Ford 16-inch wheel. So yeah, I'll get these drilled and show you guys the after. So it's a little time consuming. I won't show drilling the whole thing, but basically just, I've got some cutting oil here. Put some cutting oil down in the hole, and I'm just going to run this hole saw. I got on the slow speed because you don't want to just burn through your hole saw, right? So now the drill's shaking because I only got one hand on it, but that's all I'm doing, right? Just drilling that. I got two hands normally to keep it steady, and you're just going to drill the new holes all the way around, right? Same with this one, same with that one, go all the way around. Alright, well, I've got the driver's side and the passenger side done on the front, which was the most important to me. I mean, I'll do all four, but, or all six, I should say. But I guess these are a bit shorter. These are 225 75 16s. Now the rears are 235 85 16, which is quite tall. These are definitely shorter. Now the fronts that I had put on, because I had changed the front tires, the only ones I had were a 245 75 16. So they're basically, these are just shorter than anything else I had, but that's okay. They're way safer, so I can live with it. I'm actually probably going to lose a little bit of my my speed. Right now I'm 588s with a tall tire. I'll probably lose a little bit, but that's okay. These are way safer than what's on here. You know, every time I load these rears down, I mean, they were touching each other in the centers. They're at one point, like I had loaded it quite a bit. So, all right, well, I got all the 6 wheels are on, mounted. The rears, like I said, I had to carve out the inside just a little bit. I basically just took a sort of a grinding disc and just went around on the inside of the rim, just minor, just to get it to clear the axle. And yeah, everything's bolted down. I put there's 2 tires that were a little balder than the rest. They're not bald, but they're not as much life. So I put them on the inside so that at least, you know, somebody looking at it don't have bald tires on the outside, I guess. They're not bald. They're just lower than the others, but yeah, this was the guy's spare, so it's just covered in dust, but I think it's a huge upgrade over what was here. Now they are about an inch shorter, so the RPMs will go up a little bit, but I mean they're already up there anyways. So okay, so I've actually been using the truck quite a bit with these different wheels on here. My wife and I have been doing some landscaping in the backyard here, so all this, everywhere it's sort of just dirt. This was just the natural driveway into the back here, but in the summertime it gets so dusty. So we actually rented a mini excavator, dug down just about 4 inches, sort of scraped the whole thing here, and then I just brought in a bunch of this. It's called blue chip. I don't know if everywhere has this stuff. I don't think so, but around here on the island, this stuff's super popular. It's just like a sort of a blue rock, but brought a bunch of this in, brought some topsoil in. We're sort of redoing the back here. But with that being said, I've been using this dump truck a ton. So I hauled I think it was about 25 yards of just fill out of the back here. And in the dump truck, I found some lady up the road who wanted it all for leveling out some low wet areas in her yard. But anyways, I used the truck. The dump works great. I don't even have to get out with this gate, actually. It's pretty neat. It's got these things here. There's a lever inside the truck. It swings that up and down, so the gate either stays shut or opens up when you're dumping. And so that's been a huge help. So, and then I've just been running over to sort of the local gravel mart there and grabbing all that blue chip and dumping it with the truck. So I wouldn't say that that's like the best proper way to do it, you know, laying the wheel down and drilling it, but it was a lot cheaper than taking them to a machine shop. And I'm just running around, you know, the back roads here doing dump runs and stuff, dumping gravel. But what I did have to do was I had to carve out the inside of the wheel. I gave up on taking the axle shaft out. That's just ridiculous. If I got to pull the wheel off, or say I have a flat tire, and then I got to pull the axle, so that was a bad idea. But I ended up carving out the inside of the rim, just with a grinder going around a bunch, just to clear this. But I did have to cut the flange that is on the drum itself, on the hub. And that flange is what the wheels bolt to. Like, the studs come through that flange. I had to cut that down to get the wheels to clear the hub, if that makes any sense, because they were actually sitting out about ½ an inch, so they weren't square on the drum. Anyways, a lot of screwing around, but it did work, and I've been using this thing a ton. There's no issues. I've got a big socket in the truck, and I always check the torque on the lug nuts, and I've had to tighten them a couple times, you know, just a little tiny bit, but they're not backing off or anything. Okay, I just got back from the gravel place, so I can safely fit 2 yards. That's 2 yards of blue chip in the back here. And this thing will safely take 2 yards before it really... I did have 3 in here at one time, but 3's a bit much. So at 2 yards, you can see the overloads are touching the perches. The tires aren't touching each other in the middle, which is excellent. These are E-rated tires, which are heavier than D. The mud flaps drag a little bit on the ground when it's loaded, but I might cut them short just so it doesn't make any weird scraping sounds. But yeah, I figured I'd just set up the tripod here and dump this load. You guys can watch the gate swing open. I don't know, it's kind of neat for you know, a 64 Ford. I'm so happy to put this thing back on the road and put it back to work like it's supposed to be. So I won't do it with the truck running because it's too noisy. You guys won't hear me. But basically, the way this thing works is to get the PTO engaged. So this handle is the parking brake. It's actually like a drum around the drive shaft or the tail shaft on the transmission. But it doesn't. I don't have it adjusted right. It doesn't work. But this handle in front of it is the PTO. So right now it's disengaged, and when you engage it, you pull it back. But this truck, it took me a little while to sort of figure out its quirks. So you got to put the truck in first gear and drive forwards. I just pop the clutch and drive forward slowly, and you can pull that lever back. It'll slide in while the truck's in first, and it'll hold itself in. And then you let the clutch out. Then you're in neutral. So in neutral, the PTO is spinning, and this handle here, when it's down, will dump the box. You pull it back up, and that'll bring the box down. Now this thing, it's kind of neat. This thing, it's very homemade, bunch of square tubing. But if I pull on it, what that does is that opens these guys. And then the box can swing, or the gate can swing open. When it's pushed in, that locks that, and then that gate stays shut. So that's kind of neat. That way you can dump this stuff without having to get out of the truck and take that gate off. So the only really tricky part is getting the PTO, getting it back out, like disengaging the PTO. So I got to put it in reverse, and then I literally have to swing my leg around and put my foot flat on that lever and push pressure on it and just drive in reverse, and all of a sudden it'll just pop out. You can't do it with your hand. It's too stiff. So it actually looks like maybe there was a longer handle on it and it broke off. But I might look into doing something like making a handle that comes up and out and up here, like above in front of the ashtray, just like the shifter, so that I can easily pull that thing in and out. Because right now it's pretty goofy with my foot on it and stuff. It's sort of, no one's had to watch me yet, but it's a little funny. Alright, well thanks for watching, guys. This thing is an excellent workhorse, and I'm going to keep using it. I've got a couple more loads of gravel to do, and then another 2 yards of topsoil, and probably 2 yards of bark mulch. So thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you on the next one.